Hey, how fun. All right. So, welcome to Morning Coffee Light Roast. Yay. So excited. So if you haven't seen Dark Roast, our latest Dark Roast episode, please go do that because guess what? I'm on that one, even though it's a channel. But for Light Roast, I'm here. But guess who's here? Carolina, because
Hi.
he's going to be kind of receiving all my enthusiasm and positivity and just all the good stuff, right? Because that's what Light Roast is all about.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I feel like this is how most of our conversations are. You're about the positivity and the light, and I'm the dark and the green.
all good, all good. All right, we're gonna see what we learn today. And honestly, even all the past episodes that I've done, I've like I always present information that I know or that I've researched, but I always
Yeah.
go off on a tangent and just kind of allow my inspiration to kind of like take me where I need to go. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
I end up repeating myself a little bit more, but it's just to reiterate. So Carolina, and I forgot I was going to do this, since you weren't a part of my previous ones, just wanted to kind of do a quick recap. So for my
Okay.
first episode, I talked about Walt Disney,
Uh-huh.
about 3 things: about identifying your passion, um, the importance of hustling. So how are you going to get there, and about enjoying the ride, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
we work really hard and then we just forget to enjoy the ride. Then I talked about J.K. Rowling. I talked about how you have to believe, as cheesy as it sounds, that fear of failure.
Harry
Oh,
Potter.
there you go. Fear of failure is just an excuse, and the importance of persistence. Then I did a freestyle about that week where I was just not feeling it. So I kind of just talked about the importance of validating your feelings, how even
Mm-hmm.
when you're not feeling it, it's important to recognize that you're not feeling it. Then the latest one, which I actually forgot that I had talked about this, I talked about Bruce Lee, and that one I
Yeah.
focused on setting your goals. So the importance of writing them down. And for this week, I thought it would be really cool. I'm going to talk about this person without telling you who this person is,
Okay.
and then I'll get to the point where I tell you who it is, right?
Can
So
I guess it?
yeah. At any
Okay, okay. If I guess this point where I can.
Okay.
Okay.
So this person was born November 22nd, 1967. So this person is 52 years old. Just to give, that's a hint, that's your hint.
Okay.
In Kenosha, Wisconsin. And I hope I said that city right. If not, you can make fun of me. Anyway, so this person lived their teenage years in Virginia, and then eventually the family moved to San Diego. But then, of course, this person eventually ended up in LA, as they most of all do. Um, so this person got married, now has 3 kids, but was a bartender for about 9 years, just really working hard and trying to, I guess, make ends meet. Did about 800 auditions before what they call making it, before
Mm-hmm.
a role, and made in 2002 was diagnosed with a brain tumor and had surgery that was supposed to be simple, like super easy, but then ended up getting on the left side of this person's face ended up being paralyzed for about like 8 or 9 months. And at that point, they didn't know if it was going to go away or not. They just,
Yeah.
but eventually ended up getting like full ability and facial
Mm-hmm.
movement. And then that was in 2002. But then kind of like one of the let me backtrack. Prior to getting diagnosed in 2000, had a leading role in the movie You Can Count on Me. And from there, that leading role, everything was like kind of building up. Then 2 years later, gets diagnosed with the brain tumor
Mm-hmm.
and all of that. But by 2003, then starts to become in more roles and more movies and all of that. This person is in 13 going on 30, in the movie Now You See Me and Begin Again. And you'll get this one for sure. Is
What?
famously known for, wait, did you already say it?
Oh no.
Oh,
Go.
I thought I heard it, but is famously known for being none other than the Hulk. So we are talking about Mark Ruffalo.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny.
um, so
He's 52?
yeah, that's
He
crazy. I
aged that
know.
well.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
had no idea about his brain tumor though.
Didn't either. That's why I like kind of caught my attention. I was like, wait, I need to
Yeah.
follow this a little bit more. Um, Also, his brother actually passed away in
Yeah.
2008.
Hmm.
And one other thing that I thought was really interesting that I put on here was he's actually an anti-fracking activist.
Yeah, he actually did a movie recently that was like going into like some chemicals, the forever chemicals in the water or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. I want to, but I didn't.
Yeah. So when I was looking at his story or just kind of following through, and again, I do very brief because then the
Hmm.
important is kind of like the takeaway. Um, so one of his quotes that I read about was one of the reasons why I decided to look into him even more. And it's take these tragic things and turn them into something meaningful and worthy of the loss. Make it count. And so this episode is about making it count, right?
Hmm.
So the reason why I didn't want to give away who he was is because I didn't want the first thing to pop in your head is, oh, this is someone famous, right? At
Yeah.
first, you want to, it's almost kind of like, I think it's an easy misconception that the moment we think of celebrity, and I'm speaking for myself, you think celebrity or a famous person, it's almost as if you kind of take away this human factor from them, right? Because
Yeah.
they're behind the scene or behind they're on the big screen is what I'm trying to say.
Hmm.
And so, the truth of the matter is, I guess when you get caught up in seeing them, it takes away, like, this is not just this character that's being played, like this person has, like, these hardships that they go through. um
Yeah.
and so when I found out about the whole brain tumor and all of that, I was like, oh wow, it's so crazy how, like, I mean, I'm not one to like be on top of like all the celebrity drama and all of that. uh,
Yeah.
but there's stuff that happens that you do, like, if you think about it, like, it's so hard to have to experience certain like personal things on the spot in the spotlight, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you don't know what is happening, or you don't know how to experience what, or, like, what's the proper way to react to certain things that happen in your life. um
Hmm.
and so, yeah, just going through and looking through all of that, like, I mean, going through a personal health situation, and then having I mean, that's his brother, right? They lived in I believe they lived together. And I think he was a hairdresser or hairstylist or something like that, so he was very
Yeah, I think so. But it was like out of nowhere, right? It was like a random thing,
yeah,
wasn't it?
he was found
Yeah.
shot in his apartment.
Hmm.
And I think I watched one of his interviews. The conclusion that they came to was that it was like a homicide, but that was just kind of like, that's what they said it was, but in a way to just close the case rather than continuing to investigate. So you can imagine
Yeah.
how even then, like, feeling like it's not really closure, it's not really
Hmm.
solving like what truly happened. um,
Yeah.
and so when I read the quote, that's what kind of was my biggest takeaway, is like, you know hard things are going to happen to all of us, and in different degrees. um
Hmm.
and so, just the fact that he ended that quote with, like, make it count. And it's true. I even looked it up, and I was just like, okay, well, what would you how would you tell somebody, like, make it count? Like, what would that even mean? And I looked it up, and it's the way to find it was make something have as useful and positive an effect as possible.
Mhm.
So that's basically, I mean, and I'm grabbing something negative and I'm trying to turn it into positive, right? But we can even talk about something positive and keep it positive. How make use of your bad moments of your emotions or maybe bad experiences and turn them into those life lessons, and so just stopping there real quick, like I think a lot of us experience hard things, and this kind of reminds me of our episode from last week. We not everyone wants to share what goes on in their life, and sometimes maybe some of us think like, well, what I experienced really wasn't as hard as this person or wasn't
Yeah.
as bad as this person. And so we almost belittle our own experiences, which, yeah, perhaps this is a bigger deal, but it shouldn't take away from the impact of somebody else hearing your story or somebody
Mhm.
else listening to, oh wow, like you felt that too, or just a way of like connecting and saying it is okay to feel, you know, sad, or to feel like I'm rejecting myself, or to have body image issues, or all
Mhm.
of those things. So making turning that into something positive. It's not saying
Yeah.
I'm going to turn like a loss of a family member's death into the greatest thing ever. Like, right, you don't want to like disrespect the I guess the mourning process, or just the
Mhm.
loss of, or
Yeah.
yeah, the case of something being lost. But it's being able to transform that into a takeaway, into a, like, what did you learn from that? Like, who did that turn you into? Or like, did you become stronger? Like, what did you learn? You know what I mean? Like, being able to make a use of something like that and just turn it into something positive, or something
Mhm.
that's like something that can be impactful to somebody else. And so another quote that I read that also goes along with this was, sometimes we're too quick to count the days that we forget to make the days count. And I think that's just something beautiful, right? Because
Yeah.
I honestly can remember so countless times, no pun intended, countless times where, I was counting down to my high school graduation. I was counting down till when I started college. I was counting down till I ended college. Then
Yeah.
counting down till I got married. You know what I mean? And so there's always these milestones, and we talk about goals and reaching like the next milestone or the next phase in our life. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's so true how we do get lost in that, oh, 10 more days, that it's like, well, within those 10 days, what are you doing? Or what can you embrace a little more, or what can get done? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's not like those 10 days should not be a blur, because every day counts. And like
Mhm.
they say, every day is never the same, even though people say like, oh, it's such a routine and it always, but every day, even in the slightest form, is different, and
True.
can be different. um but it's making sure that you make it count, right? Whatever
Mhm.
it is. Like, I know there are people who have bad experiences that kind of, even though it defines them, they almost use that as an excuse for their behavior, or allow that to continuously be something that haunts them. And
Yeah.
you know um I mean, I'm not a psychologist or like an expert or anything like that, but just having close people to me in places where they've let anger go, to people opposed to people who held on for it for years, like it almost does you more damage internally than the person who did the damage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and it's not to say that it's easy and it's fast or anything like that, but basically what my point is just like, even when you use an example like Mark Ruffalo, where you have, again, I saw interviews where he even talked about like he thought he was going to die, and it wasn't something that it was like, oh, okay, you're like at stage 4, there's nothing we can do.
Mhm.
There was a fix to it, But he thought he was going to die, and he talked about how there's so many things he learned, and he learned about himself. Some things you don't know about yourself until you experience that, and you're like, I didn't know I was like this in a case of something like this, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like seeing his story, and even like the death of his brother, and just he talked about how he went away from acting for a while, and when he came back, he did one movie, and he thought in his mind, like, this is it, like, I'm gonna just do this movie and I'll be done. um
Yeah.
but then he had so much fun doing the movie, and that, obviously we've seen all the
Mhm.
other movies that he's made. So um it's just, yeah, this, again, going back to that, is just, make it count, make it
Mhm.
fit, because like they say, we only live once, and not in the YOLO way.
Not that yellow.
Not to be irresponsible, not like that. But it's just kind of finding the true beauty of life, and how it can be difficult, and it is hard, but that's not where it should stop, or that's not what should define what your life turns out to be.
Mhm.
So
Very true.
yeah, that's my little inspirational spiel for today. I don't know
I
if
need
you
the inspiration.
Yeah, it's true. It's just, I mean, I feel like even in like what the world is going through, there's
Mhm.
things that keep popping up. And it's crazy, and sometimes it's overwhelming, but it's not a matter of throwing in the towel, like that.
Yeah.
Giving up, and I know it sounds cheesy, but like, giving up shouldn't be an option. Like, there are days where all you want to do is sit down and just be like, and think that you're going to give up, and you just
Mhm.
want to accept that. But then being able to allow time, reasonable time, to pass, and then say, you know what, no, and kind of like picking yourself back up, and saying there's more to it than what happened here, or what I'm allowing this one thing to just take over, my emotions, or what I'm going through.
Yeah. There's a thing where talking like specifically to like anger, where it's like anger is like the only emotion where you like drink poison thinking it'll affect the other person, but really the only person it's hurting is you.
Mhm.
And it's like that's the same thing with anger. Like if you hold on to the anger for so long, you're not causing any damage to the person who hurt you. Rather, you're hurting yourself because you're not letting yourself grow past that.
Right.
And so, like, if you like, it's something you obviously have to work internally with yourself. It's
Mm.
never, but anger.
Yeah, no,
Anger.
absolutely. I think anger itself is like its own thing of it. Like, I don't know, it's
Yeah.
complicated, because the thing is, anger in itself can be just anger, but then it could be like different versions of anger. There's anger
Hmm.
with disappointment, there's anger with, you know sadness, and there's different like versions of it. But you're right, regardless of whatever version it is, in the end, if it's something that you live with each and every day, like, that is something that eats away at yourself. That is something that
Yeah.
you're living with, that you can pretend to be living a normal life, and we all know it, and we've all been there. It doesn't matter what you can be doing. You could probably be having the best time of your life, and something so insignificant pops in your head, and it'll automatically remind you of that. Or it'll bring this just like crazy feeling of like, I don't know. It's crazy how much anger can transform a person,
Hmm.
and can just
Yeah.
control you, right? Like, get a hold of you. But you know, I don't know. I think that is a beast for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is, um again, like, it's just a little, hopefully, just a moment to reflect, right? Whether you are in a place in your life where you feel like you are, um going through hardships, or you feel like this is your low point. you know
Yeah.
I hope that, I mean, I think in the moment, sometimes people don't realize like maybe you are in a low point and it takes time for it to all just kind of kick in. But
Hmm.
my point is like when you're past that, to allow it to look back and like even in the quote, like how even Mark said it, like take the tragic things
Yep.
and turn it into something meaningful. Like make whatever you lost or make whatever was bad, make
Hmm.
it in the end that it's worth it, that it's something that turned
Yeah.
out to be so much better.
Yeah. Like use that pain or that anger, frustration as a like stepping off point, like a
Mhm.
push off point.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
Mark Ruffalo.
yes,
What do you know?
he inspired me today. But yeah, so that's what we have for this week. It's a short little quick pick me up, but then we have on Thursday our episode that we recorded. So tune into that, and then again after that, we're back to the spooky stuff.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing for it. I'll be 100% honest, so we'll see what happens.
Yep, exactly. We'll see. We'll see what kind of inspiration pops in.
Yeah. Try to make it inspirational. See if you can do that.
Oh, turn that dark.
Turn that dark roads.
All right, challenge accepted. I'll try to throw it in there.
Okay.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, we say goodbye to you guys, and again, remember, make it count.